Good afternoon, Minasan. Our assigned topic is about the market structure analysis. First is the pricing and output under pure competition, which will be discussed by yours truly, Mabel. And then next is monopoly and monopolistic competition, which will be discussed by my teammates, namely Jessame and Trisha. Learning how the market works within its industry is important for a business. Analyzing theoretical business situations like peer competition can help marketing teams adjust their tactics to reach their target consumers. Understanding peer competition can help discover market improvement opportunities. In this afternoon, I am going to outline peer competition by explaining the marketing condition and its characteristics. So, what is peer competition? Peer competition is a marketing situation where many sellers offer similar products for similar prices. In peer competition markets, corporations have little control of a product's price. Some characteristics of peer competitions include multiple buyers and sellers, prices are comparable, all products are similar, different product knowledge, product availability is similar, easy industry entrance, and last is variation in profits. So in the next slide, we will discuss each one by one. So for multiple buyers and sellers, so a pure competition market has many sellers and buyers. This competition can create high demand and supply rates, while pure competition markets may have occasional small demand and supply shifts. The number of buyers and sellers often remains reasonably consistent, where prices are comparable. Since sellers have many competitors, a single firm may not change a product's average price. If sellers raise prices too high, buyers can purchase from one of many lower price competitors. In pure competition, all sellers offer products at similar average prices in order to stay in the market. Since prices rarely vary in pure competition, buyers can switch between products without noticeable cost changes. All products are similar. In pure competition, all products are similar. Products may all appear to resemble each other in packaging, color, and shape without being exactly identical. Since products are alike, buyers may not have product preferences and often will purchase all products equally. Likewise, sellers don't have buyers' priorities and may market to everyone the same way. Environmental factors like the seller and buyer location or transportation have little impact on firm profits. Different product knowledge. Sellers and buyers have different knowledge amounts in a pure competition system. Buyers have complete knowledge of product details such as price and quality, while sellers have incomplete knowledge of what prices buyers may accept. So, for example of this, a seller may try to raise profits by purchasing cheaper goods while maintaining the same price. A buyer with complete knowledge knows there are higher quality products available for that price and can make a purchase elsewhere. Then product availability is similar. While there are minor differences in product availability because of variables such as transportation, location, and weather, products are relatively available to all buyers. Changes in delivery from seller to buyer rarely change a buyer's product decisions. While supply is equal for all firms, transportation of supply to sellers is not. Regardless of transportation differences, sellers may receive nearly equal profits in a pure competition market. Easy industry entrance. Firms are free to enter and exit the industry without spending much money on moving costs, research and time. Since firms have no competitive advantage over each other, all firms each normal and equal profits. The success of firms in the industry may affect the rate at which new firms enter or leave the business. So, for example, if a firm makes exists profits, the industry attracts new firms. If one loses profits, more may leave the industry. If a company earns normal profits, like in peer competition, so there is no tendency toward firms entering or leaving the industry. Variation in profits. In a pure competition market, all sellers make a similar profit because they all share similarities in the following factors. These are the product, transportation, knowledge, price, and demand. Since every seller experiences some variations within each factor, profits can vary slightly as well. Also, in pure competition market, companies pay overhead, expenses, and salaries. Since all seller costs are similar, firm profits can remain almost identical. So in pure competition, market is said to be purely competitive if there is large number of sellers and buyers of the commodity, each too small to affect the price of the commodity. Second, the output of all firms in the market are homogeneous, especially the product of any seller is considered as exactly alike in all respect to the product of any other seller. There is perfect mobility of resources, like there is freedom of entry into and exit from industry. Pure and perfect competition. Economists make a distinction between pure and perfect competition. We have already mentioned the characteristics of a market characterized by pure competition. A market is said to be perfectly competitive if it contains all the characteristics of pure competition, plus an additional characteristic such as consumers, resource owners, and firms in the market have perfect knowledge of present and future prices and costs. Perfect knowledge means that a person knows the price of a commodity being charged in the market. For example, market in Tabuan and Carbon. Based on this knowledge, he can make his decision as whether to buy from one market or the other based on price differences. Price and output in the long run. When we talk of long run equilibrium price and output, we are referring to the situation toward which the market price and output and the short run equilibrium price and output tend in a period of time long enough to allow the following things, versus the completing by firms of all desired adjustments, the entry of new firms, and the departure of old ones. An evaluation of a competitive market. What is a competitive market and a competitive market analysis? A competitive market is a market where there are a large number of buyers and sellers, where no single buyer or seller can affect the price of goods being sold. While the competitive market analysis is the process of determining who your competitors are, researching their strategies, and unpacking what they do well or not so well. So next topic is an evaluation of a competitive market. So how will we evaluate a competitive market? First is we determine who your competitors are. We need to figure out who we're really competing with so we can compare the data accurately. What works in the business similar to yours may not work for your brand. So how we can do this? Divide the competitors into two categories, the direct and indirect. We already know what is direct competitors. So these are businesses that offer a product or service that could pass as a similar substitute to yours product and that operate in the same geographic areas. Second, determine what products your competitors offer. Third is research your competitors' sales tactics and results. Four, take a look at your competitors' pricing as well as any perks they offer. For this, you need to understand how much your competitors are changing or charging for a similar product or service. Fifth, ensure you're meeting competitive shipping costs. Six, analyze how your competitors market their products for this. Analyzing your competitor's website is the fastest way to gauge their marketing efforts, like if they have blogs, do they have a media kit, or what online and offline advertising campaigns are they running. 7. Take note of your competition's content strategy. 8. Learn what technology stack your competitors use. 9. Analyze the level of engagement on your competitors' content. 10. Observe how they promote marketing content. 11. Look at your social media presence, strategies, and go-to platforms like the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and etc. 12. Perform a SWOT analysis to learn their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. For this, you'll be able to compare their weaknesses against your strengths and vice versa. By doing this, you can better position your company and you'll start to uncover areas for improvement within your own brand. The welfare effect of perfect competition. In perfect competition, firms compete to attract customers by offering products at competitive prices. As a result, consumers can purchase goods or services at prices lower than their maximum willingness to pay. This creates a surplus value, enhancing overall consumers' welfare and satisfaction. Consumer preferences, as reflected in the marketplace, will be fulfilled so both consumers and producers are satisfied. Second, society resources would be allocated in the most efficient way both within and between industries. Third, flexible factor and product prices would ensure full employment of all factors of production. Competition among employers for inputs and among factors for jobs would cause factor owners to be paid their opportunity costs. This would be determined by the respective contributions to total output of each factor as measured by its marginal product. Fifth, with consumer incomes and tastes given, aggregate consumer satisfaction would be maximized because goods would be distributed among consumers according to their demands. Shortcomings of the competitive price systems. So as long as the amount of pesos or the peso votes of consumers are more or less distributed equitably, the price system will allocate resources efficiently. In cases, however, where there are high degrees of income inequality, allocation of resources would inevitably be titled in favor of those who possess the necessary peso votes. Competitive price system under this situation would lead to the production of luxuries for the rich while denying the basic needs of the poor. For example, the housing problem in the Philippines. There is a great housing shortage in the cities, especially in the Metro Manila areas. Only a small percentage of families in Metro Manila have detached housing units. The greater portion live in overcrowded apartments. Now, those who do not have necessary peso votes have to make do with the construction of flimsy houses in unoccupied lot areas, thus creating the phenomenon called the squatters area. Given this shortcoming, many economists believe that the distribution of income which pure competition provides should be modified by fiscal or governmental action. With the housing problem, for example, the government should provide low-cost housing to the low-income groups of similar plans to those who are at a disadvantage because of income inequality. Second, market failure, external costs and public goods. The competitive price system does not accurately measure costs and benefit where spillover costs and benefits are significant. Under a competitive situation, each producer will assume only those costs which it must pay. This correctly implies that in some lines of production, there are significant costs which producers can and do avoid. These avoided costs accrue to society and are aptly called spillover or external costs. Firms may avoid the cost of properly disposing the waste materials or of buying pollution-treated equipment. Example: Magnolia Plant of San Miguel Corporation has its Aurora Boulevard plant in Quezon City. The result is significant spillover costs in the form of polluted rivers, smog, and a generally debased community. Similarly, unbridled competition may cause profit-seeking firms to brutally exploit farmlands, forests, and mineral deposits through the use of cheapest production methods. The result would, of course, be unproductive lands, denuded forests, and polluted mineral camps. The cost to society is the permanent loss of the reproducible natural resources. On the other hand, the production and consumption of certain goods and services such as anti-TB or polio shots yields widespread satisfactions or benefits to society as a whole. These satisfactions are called external or spillover benefits. The market system does not provide for social or public goods. The construction and maintenance of public schools, public hospitals, parks, infrastructure, and similar projects are done outside the market system. Despite its other virtues, the competitive price system ignores an important class of goods and services: national defense, flood control programs, and so forth, which can and do yield satisfaction to consumers, but which cannot be priced and sold through the market system. Next topic is about monopoly will be discussed by my groupmate Jesame.
Hello, I'm Jeros Miyap and I will be discussing about the monopoly. The word monopoly is derived from the Greek words mono meaning single and polyn to sell. So what is monopoly? A monopoly is a market structure that consists of only one seller or purchaser. In the absence of government intervention, a monopoly is free to set any price it chooses and will usually set the price that yields the largest possible profit. Monopolies can lead to unfair consumer practices. So, it is a market that is in charge of one single seller, meaning sa usara ka magbaligyaay. A market where one company is the sole supplier. In the absence of government intervention, a monopoly is free sa pagtakda sa bisan unsang presyo nga pilion niini and will usually set the price that yields the largest possible profit. Monopolies can often lead to unfair trade practices like sa pagpaningil sa lain-laing mga presyo gikan sa lain-laing mga consumers, pag-set og price nga labaw pa sa gasto sa manufacturing o pagbaligya sa ubos nga mga produkto o mga serbisyo ug uban pa. A monopoly limits available substitutes for its product and creates barriers for competitors to enter the marketplace. Under monopoly, the consumer has only two choices, either buy the monopolist product or none at all. Ang monopoly naglimit sa magamit nga mga makasubstitute niya nga produkto ug naghimo og babag para sa pagsulod sa merkado sa iyang mga kompetensya. Under the monopoly, the consumer has only two choices, either buy the monopolist product or none at all. Why? Because other firms are not able to enter the market. Monopolies face inelastic demand and so can increase prices. Walay gihatag nga alternatibo sa mga consumer. Characteristic of monopoly: single seller or producer. A market structure characterized by a single seller selling a unique product in the market. In a monopoly market, the seller faces no competition as he is the sole seller of goods with no close substitute. A monopoly market is comprised of a single supplier to a multitude of small independently acting buyers. For example, Meralco Electric Company is a perfect example of monopoly in the Philippines. Monopoly in the Philippines, Meralco ang nag-inusarang supplier sa kuryente sa nasod. Diri sa Danau kay Sibico, wala sila ikakompetensya. Ambot sa Cebu murag unsa na sila diha. So the second one is unique product or services. In a monopolistic market, the product or service provided by the company is unique. There are no close substitutes available in the market. So, ang unique nga product nagpasabot nga walay close nga ikapuli sa mga monopolistang produkto. Tungod niini, gamay ra o walay competition ang giatubang sa monopolista. Adunay pipila lang ka mga produkto nga walay suod nga ikapuli. Example, diri sa Danau paggamit og gas lamp or generator kay puli sa Sibico. Bisan padili kini maayo nga ikapuli sa produkto nga gisgutan tungod kay ang pagbutang niini mahal og unsuitable. And the last one is impossible entry. Barriers to entry are so severe in a monopoly so that it is impossible for new firms to enter the market. In other words, ang extremely high nga magbabag naghimo nga imposible alang sa mga bagong kumpanya sa pagsulod sa industry. So here are the examples of monopoly. Manila Water, Meralco, SM, Ayala, bisag unsa pa na diha. Here are the examples of monopoly. Manila Water, Meralco, SM, Ayala, bisag unsa pa na diha. The graph of monopolist. Monopoly is the first of the three types of imperfect competition. The distinguishing characteristic of imperfect competition is that the firm's demands curve no longer a perfectly elastic horizontal line. Now it curves downwards to the right. This means that the imperfect competitor will have to lower price to sell more. A monopoly is free to set any price it chooses and will usually set the price that yields the largest possible profit. So, nagpasabot nga dili hingpit nga kakompetensya kinahanglan nga magpaubos sa presyo aron makabaligya pa. In table, so makita man na ninyo diya sa table no. Table 7.1, hypothetical demand and cost schedule for a monopoly. It shows that the table depicts the cost and revenue schedule of a monopolist. Under a monopoly, the demand or price and marginal revenue schedules are no longer equal. So how to compute the monopolist profit? According to figure 7.1, marginal cost equals marginal revenue at 5 units of output. Showing the formulator total profit, we get total profit equals price minus ATC times output. Natural monopoly and economies of scale. A natural monopoly is a type of monopoly that arises due to unique circumstances where high startup cost and significant economies of scale lead to only one firm being able to efficiently provide the service in a certain territory. So just like the government policies, governments create monopolies by establishing government monopoly firms, limiting entry of other firms to create a private monopoly, and issuing patents which are temporary monopoly rights. So technology, innovations that lowers unit cost increases supply. It can allow higher profit at the same price. Economic freedom. An example is the property owners have the right to use their property as they see fit within certain legal bounds. They have the freedom to sell, rent, or alter their property as they desire. Contracts are enforced and respected economically free. Monopoly seen as inefficient. Monopolies do not supply enough output to be allocationally efficient, where all goods and services are distributed among buyers in an economy. This is where optimal output means marginal benefit and cost. Monopolies are price makers, yet they are still subject to the law of demand. Thus, the higher the price they set on their product, the lower the amount that is bought by consumers. Monopoly is a market structure that completely depends on one seller for a product. Monopoly markets have high entry barriers and are different from monopolistic markets and perfect competition. Legislations usually restrict monopolies to allow free competition in the market for the buyer's benefit. A monopoly exists when one company or player has complete control over one market, product, or means of production. Monopolies can hurt consumers because they lead to inefficiencies, lack of innovation, and higher prices. Determinants of monopoly: government laws and policies, technology, business policies and practices, economic freedom. So, mauna ni siya kanang in some industries, in the interest of the economy and the consumers, government controls the degree of competition in the market. Advanced technology can create two scenarios in the market, especially for the monopoly market. Companies with expensive and cutting-edge technology can be monopolized. The presence of big firms or monopolies discourages the entry of the new firms with little resources. One of the strategies for big firms to buy the resources of their competitors for an attractive price was slowly and subtly eliminating of economic freedom. Monopolists enjoy the existence of economic freedom, such as the right to own private properties, the right to engage in any lawful business, the right to accumulate income, and other similar economic freedoms.
So good afternoon everyone. I'm Kishapi Adolfo. I will be reporting about the monopolistic competition. So the first is what is monopolistic competition? Monopolistic competition, it refers to the market organization in which a relatively large number of small producers or suppliers are offering a similar but not identical products. An example of this is given by the many pills or headaches available in the market. For example, Cortal, Bonferring, and Ache, and etc. So the next one is the price differentiation. The basic idea behind the monopolistic competition is that the most firms face relatively close substitutes and that most commodities are not completely homogeneous as from one producer. This concept is what we call the product differentiation. An example of the price differentiation can be seen in the airline industry. Price of the same flight often vary based on the time of booking, the class of the seat, and even the location where you are booking. So the next one is the short-run equilibrium profit maximization and the short run of the monopolistically competitive firms. So produce the quantity when MR minus NC, and then the price on the demand curve. If P is less than ACT, it's the profit. If P greater than ACT, it's a loss. If similar to monopoly. So this is the example of the short-run profit maximization. And this one is the example of short-run loss and maximization. So the next is the long equilibrium. If monopolistically competitive firms are making profit in a short run, new firms' incentive is enter the market, increase number of product, reduce demand and faced by each firms, and demand curves shift left, price fall. If each firm's profit declines to zero, if losses in short run, and some firm exist the market remaining, and firm enjoy higher demand and price. And this is the example of the long run profit maximization. So the next is monopolistic competition and monopoly and pure competition. A comparison first, the firm under monopolistic competition is likely to reduce less goods and charge relatively higher price than under pure competition. So monopolistic competition exists between a monopoly and perfect competition, combines elements of each, and includes companies with similar with not identical product, offering restaurants, hair salon, household items, and clothing are example of industries with monopolistic competition. So the next one is the welfare effects of monopolistic competition. The output restriction. If one of the industry is a purely competitive economy and a long-run equilibrium, where to become monopolically competitive, welfare will found to be reduced by a slight restriction of the output of slight. For example, price fixing and market sharing reduce output and raise prices, leading to a misallocation of resources because goods and service demand by the customers are not reduced. So the next is the efficiency of individual firms. There will be some efficiency of individual firms in the long run when entry into the industry is easy. For example, a farmer wants to sell a part of his land. The individual that will pay the most of the land uses the resource for more efficiently than someone who does not pay the most money for the land. And lastly, the range of products available. Consumers will have a broad range of types of styles and brands of a particular products from which to choose. The market situation of monopolistic competition. For example, a company may offer a range of hair care products such as shampoo, conditioner, hair mask, and serum,